All right, so right now, what we're going to do today, we're going to be modeling word problems. Modeling means to set up a mathematical equation. Okay, so they will give you a problem. They'll tell you a word problem, and then you're going to have to figure out what would the equation be from that word problem. Okay, so they won't be giving you the equation. You have to set it up. Okay?
Okay.
So, you remember before they would give you two equations and then they ask you solve for it.
Yeah.
30 minutes.
Right?
Oh.
Ready for you. Now, you have to make it. Okay? So you can't use anymore that prepackaged cake. Right? You're going to have to actually mix the flour and the sugar and everything.
You have to prepare.
Okay. So, to model a word problem, remember we always have y and x. Right? So there's y and there's x. And we always say y could be the height of something. X could be the time. Right? So we give them letters. We give these things, we give them letters so they can represent it. Okay? So the first thing that you want to do, you want to assign letters for that thing. Okay? So let's say if I'm talking about time, I'm going to say that let t equal to time. So this way I don't have to write time every single time. Right? I just write t. Okay? Or let's say if I'm talking about height, I would say let h be the height. Okay? So I'm giving them letters. So we're going to declare the variables using let statements. Okay? So what that means I'm saying let h be the height and let t be the time. Okay? So I'm giving them variables. And then we're going to have to create our equations. Usually we're going to have two equations in order for us to be able to solve. Okay? So we're going to create each of your equations. So in our class, we're going to solve two different kinds of word problems, okay, or two different scenarios. First, we're going to have a single scenario under two different conditions. Okay, we're going to look at examples. So a single scenario under different conditions. Let's look at an example. Jason weighs 6 kilograms less than twice of Bill's weight. The sum of their weight is 102 kilograms. How much does each person weigh? So what am I talking about here? What are the two variables that I have? The two things that I don't know?
Wait.
The weight of who?
The weights of both Jason and Bill. But
That's right.
in this case, I believe that it had to be divided, so it ended up being like 17 kilograms, except there's only one problem. Jason weighs 6 kilograms less. So
Then twice of this weight.
then twice of
So
those.
we
So
have
my original question to you guys, what are my variables?
Oh.
So what are the things that I don't know? And you answered Jason's weight and Bill's weight,
Yeah.
right? So this is my first question to you. You always have to ask yourself that question. What are my variables? What am I looking for, right? So, and this is where you have to declare your variables using the let statement. So we're gonna say let what? Use a letter, right? It doesn't matter what letter you wanna use. I'm gonna use B
X or B.
for Bill, and I'm gonna use J for Jason's weight.
Yes.
Okay? Just to make it easier. You can use any letters you want. So let B, letter B, be Bill's weight. Remember, it's not only enough to say be Bill's. Bill's what? Bill's age, Bill's height, Bill's, I don't know, number of.
Things.
So in this case, it will be Bill's weight. And J, B, Jason's weight. Okay? So the first thing always is to tell the person who's reading your answer, know what each letter represents. Okay? I can't assume what you mean. Right? Now, I have two scenarios here. Actually, I have one scenario which is Bill's and Jason's weight. Read the second sentence for me. If the sum of their weight is 102 kilograms, can you guys write an equation for me here? What would it be? What does the word sum mean?
To add.
To add. To add. Sum to add. The difference, etc. So when you add both their weight, it's gonna equal to 102. So how can I write an equation for that?
The price of Bill's weight minus that much. J's weight 6 kilo something. Whatever it is. Is equal to 102 kilograms.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Price of
What's Bill's weight? What's Bill's weight? What letter is it?
B.
B.
2B.
I'm just reading the second
Sorry.
one, okay? So it's B. That's Bill's weight, right? Sum means,
To add.
so plus, right? The sum of both of their weights. So Bill's weight and
J's.
Jason's weight is equal to what?
120. 102 kilograms.
That's one of your equations,
Okay.
okay? So the sum of their weight is 102. So when I add Bill's weight, which is B, and Jason's weight, which is J, when I add these two letters, I'm gonna get 102.
Yes.
Okay? So that's the simpler equation. Now the harder equation is the first one. This one. Now, Jason's weight, what letter did I write that as?
J.
J. So Jason's weight, 6 kilograms less than
Twice.
twice of Bill.
Price of B. 2B.
So Jason's weight is equal to what? So twice of Bill's weight
Minus 6.
minus 6,
Yes.
right? Because it's 6 less than. So twice of Bill's weight, so it's 2B,
Minus
minus
6.
6. Okay? So Jason's weight is equal to 6 less than twice Bill's weight. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Now you have to get used to the words less than means minus, right?
I would figure it out totally different though. Like I would just subtract the 102 by 2. I mean divide by 2.
Why?
Because that's half their weight. And then I would take 6 away from that number, which would be J's weight.
No, there's an issue there. Bill's weight will have to be doubled though afterwards. Because it's 6 kilograms less than twice of Bill's weight, so it'll be doubled. That'll be 17 multiplied by 2.
But like that's
and
how
then-
I would figure it out.
Yeah, but what you're trying to do here, you can't do that because we don't know that they're actually very equal to each other, like,
No, yes.
they're not, so it's not like, when you divide by 2, you're assuming that they have the same weight, but they
they're
don't.
not. They're not.
When you divide the 102 by 2, you're assuming that both of them have the same weight, and then you're just dividing it by 2. So this person gets 51 kilograms, and the other person gets 51 kilograms.
That's not what you have to read the first sentence.
Right?
Relation of the weight.
So it's very important. The first sentence right here is very, very important.
Relation of the weight.
Okay? So what we have here, we have 2 equations, right? Like yesterday, we had 2 equations. Now we can graph them, or we can solve them in other ways that we're going to learn later to find the answer. In this case, we're not going to find the answer. We're just going to set up the equations. That's all what we care about right now. Now the second one is when you have 2 scenarios under similar conditions. Okay? So in this case, we're talking, in this case, in the second case, we usually have 2 different companies, and then we're comparing how these 2 different companies are charging people, okay? Or, so we have what we call 2 different scenarios, but we're looking at the same thing. So Cars Towing charges $80 plus 22 cents per kilometer. However, Bev's Towing charges $70 plus 30 cents a kilometer. Write a linear system to represent this problem. Which towing company would you use? Explain. We're not going to do this part for now because we're just going to set up the equations. Now, what am I looking at here?
Which company is cheaper?
Which company is cheaper, right? So the cost. I'm looking at the cost, correct? So how much is going to cost me if I drive so many kilometers for each towing company? Okay? So my first variable is going to be the cost. Now, what is the cost depending on? How many kilometers they drive, right? So we're gonna say what do you want to let? What letter? K, B, the distance or kilometers total.
This feels like problem solving.
It is, but we're setting up the problem.
Oh.
So my 2 letters are the cost and how many kilometers we drove, K. Now let's look at Carl's company. This is scenario number 1. What's the cost? The cost is equal to what?
$80.
$80. That's it?
Plus,
Plus that much.
22 cents per kilometer.
Plus, you're gonna have to pay $80, but on top of it, you're gonna have to
Pay 22
pay.
cents every kilometer.
So that's going to
Kilometer.
K, right? Because K represents kilometers.
Yes.
Now the second scenario is Bev's towing. And what would be the equation for that?
Cost
Cost.
equals 70 plus decimal 30 kilometer.
Times K, right? times K, because I'm using K as the letter for my kilometer. Okay?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
same conditions, right? Where you have a base and then you're adding things to it, right? But I have two different scenarios. Scenario 1 is Carl's, and scenario 2 is Ben's. Okay? It's very important to understand the word per, or to look at this sign. This and per means the same thing, okay? So that means multiplication, okay? So when I'm saying I'm charging $40 per hour, so if I work for the first hour, you're gonna pay me 40. If I work for the second hour, you're gonna pay me 40 times 2. If I work for 3 hours, you're gonna pay me 40 times 3, right? So this is where the multiplication comes in, okay? And the word plus means
Add.
literally
Add.
plus
Add.
addition, right? So what I want you to do, look at this, try to, first of all, you have to do let statement, okay? Try to find the equations. I'm gonna walk around and see if you guys, or when you're done,